This is reposted.
Today, we're going to be looking at a list. I found this article on lifehack.com and it's entitled 20 Signs You're Succeeding in Life, Even If You Don't Feel You Are. I think this can apply to so many people right now because being in a pandemic and being locked down, and some people are canceling Thanksgiving plans, some people are just worried. It's hard sometimes to look at yourself and say, hey, I'm doing successful. I know I have a really hard time accepting that things are going well for me. Of this list, there's two of them that I really like, number 18 and 19. You accept what you can't change and you change what you can. I think just giving perspective is important for people to do. Larry, you're successful and you can't change that.
So like, am I supposed to read this list? Oh, my light just went. Am I supposed to read this list and like talk myself into being, you know what? I'm successful. Is that how I'm supposed to read this list?
Well, I mean, I guess everyone can do it differently. I mean, just going through the list, I think for me, it's like, yeah, the, I have, there's like little wins, and it's important for your mental health to be able to like say positive things because it's so easy to just be like, oh man, life is hard. Los Angeles closed their restaurants again. The whole world is shutting down. It's just like if you only see negative, if you just look at the news, you're just going to see negative. But if you look at yourself, you're like, hey man, I'm better off than I was a year ago, or maybe you're not. But
I know, but I'd like this idea that you're just kind of like you're circling the drain in life, and you're like, wait a minute, I just read this great article on Life Hack, and I'm a success.
you could be just awarded the CEO position of the most successful company in the world, and this could still apply to you. You don't have to be circling the drains of life.
Okay. Okay.
So
All
maybe
right.
you do need to read this because that's the glass half empty approach to it. I don't know. Did any of these resonate with you? Do you think you're a successful person? Do you
I'm,
success is such a subjective term.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? What is that term mean? There's definitely days that I go like, I am not. And then there are definitely days that are like, you know what? Maybe,
Plus,
perhaps.
I think a lot of what this is doing is comparing yourself against yourself, because if you compare yourself against other people, that's a losing game. Like some of them are, you have raised your standards. That's a marker of success. Like 5 years ago, maybe I was willing to eat in and out 7 days a week, and now I'm going to have it one day a week. I mean,
Okay.
whatever your standards are.
Real quickly, it's funny that you brought that one up. What does that really mean, as opposed to the food thing? Like you raise your standards. What does that mean?
Again, I guess that's subjective and like what you think it is. Like your standards could be, I'm willing to get 6 hours of sleep a night, or I'm willing to date this person, or I'm willing to let someone talk to me in a certain way that you're like, hey, I don't need that anymore.
Because I say this because that's the one thing I'm gonna take out of this article. I'm gonna raise my standards. I'm definitely gonna be. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm gonna raise my standards.
Okay. You don't know what it means, but you're gonna do it. I don't know. Did you not like this article? I don't
No,
know
I
what to think.
I really I think I thought it was great. I think this is really cool. I'm glad you found it. And by the way, I love lifehack.org. I've never been there before, so I kind of
Yeah.
went around the ecosystem. Super cool. I like this. You accept what you can't change. So like the immediate thought I had is like the dude that's the 50-year-old man who's dyed his hair and he's driving around a Corvette.
Oh.
He's like trying to set the clock back. It's like, dude, you are not accepting that you're getting old.
Yeah, there's something about a guy in his 70s or 80s that has the same hair color as me. I'm like, that
No,
doesn't match. It looks weird. And sometimes you don't know it right away, but you're like, I don't know about that. And even if you have the best plastic surgery, you're like, I don't know.
But I feel like that's the perfect example, right? The guy that's dyeing his hair that's 70 years old, and you're like, bro, everybody could tell you're dyeing your hair. Like you're just not accepting what nature's telling you that you're getting old.
Right. Another thing that I've seen, especially where on the other side of the election, it hasn't been
Oh,
certified yet, but you
okay.
don't complain much. That's number 8. Like it's so easy to be able to complain about anything. And I always say that there's this example that always sticks in my head is this guy that I met at my last job. The first day I met him, he's like, I hate this place. I'm going to leave. And he's been there 12 years now. Like maybe I don't view him as a success. Like you can choose what you complain about. Like unless you just got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, like is it really that big of a deal that gas is up 13 cents?
Like what? what do you hope to accomplish by complaining? Like, of course I've complained in my life, but like,
Yeah.
what is the point of that? Are you just trying to bring people to your level? Are you just a negative person?
I know a lot of times when I complain, it feels good to get like to be like, hey man, like you want empathy. Maybe you're seeking empathy, because I've had some recent times where I'm going through something frustrating and I'll complain to Nicole. I might not always get the most sympathetic ear, but and then on the other side of it, I'm like, well, do I really need to complain about it? It's more instant gratification than it is a long time success, because you're not strategizing of what's going to happen or what steps you can take to make things better.
And then, I mean, just to piggy that, number 17 is you always look on the bright side. I mean, being negative or complaining, only bad outcomes can happen. But if you're a positive person, good things can only happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, circling back to the beginning, success is subjective, and you have a choice to view yourself as successful or not. So, I mean, if you go through this list or not, just like look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, I'm successful, because you have a choice to view yourself that way.
And I just want to echo what you said earlier. It has to be comparison of yourself. It can't be against anybody and anything outside other than just who you are.
Yeah. And I compare myself to other people all the time, and it never feels good. And when I compare myself to myself, I'm like, hey, you're doing all right.
You've come a long way.
You've come a long way. You've survived many years of life. Well, if you want to help Larry pick out his next hairpiece, please reach out. Find us Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for the Old Man in the Corner, saying thank you for stopping by.